So 7+ years of being engaged off and on in internet politics, it comes with some experience. And there's one saying that has been repeated to me several times in many different iterations and ways of going about it that I really wish that I would have heeded in my heart and mind. And still I'm kind of struggling to heed in my heart and mind to this day even. But a piece of advice kind of relating to it that I wanted to share to everyone else, especially those who are like new up-and-comers and are of the type of political commentary channel as me. Do not care for what your personal friends and family think. Really, the advice is don't care for what other people think when it comes to voicing your political opinions in general. But one specific way that I want to go about it is don't care for what your in real life friends and family think about it. Do not go trying to seek their approval, nothing like that. I mean, obviously, yes, we want to see results as YouTubers, some positive results. I mean, unless you really are just that much of a masochist who just thrives on nothing but negativity and, I don't know, too much positivity somehow has a negative effect on you and your motivation of doing YouTube channels. But generally speaking, we want to see positive results. So obviously we are going to care to some extent or another how other people think of our content. Otherwise, too much negativity would be rather discouraging for one to want to continue on with this at all. And for the longest time, going from 2017 through 2021, that has been pretty much what all I've been just relying on. Just internet approval. People's approval from over the internet. You, my fan base, and so forth. But then there was some extent of me that was thinking in 2022, and even kind of a little bit before that, I've been reflecting back on some of that reliance on that kind of approval. It was kind of unhealthy. Like, I'm not going to start naming names, and obviously hashtag not even most of all my subscribers that I've had throughout my life that I've actually cared for as far as their opinions go are of this type. But some people that I have been seeking their approval, for lack of better wording, has been kind of unhealthy and kind of toxic to some extent or another. And so therefore, by 2022, and especially 2023, when I got out of my very long hiatus of those couple of years, I started trying to pursue more of the approval of my friends and family. I mean, yes, before 2022, I was, in fact, on occasion going all like, hey, you want to check out this video of mine and whatnot? Every now and then to my family primarily, and maybe a friend or two. But generally speaking, no, I've just been going off of nothing but the approval of my fan base, of my internet fan base. And it has been more than enough to get me motivated. But now, years later, we are where we are at right now. And I guess the crippling of the algorithm in my YouTube channel doesn't really help either as far as encouragement goes, but also me trying to find a new source of encouragement and approval, that being in that of my friends and family, hasn't been going so well. Where I should have just been focused on, I guess, just being me and only going along with the approval of my internet fan base and not of in real life friends and family. Now, obviously, there are some exceptions to this rule. Like, one particular example that I go thinking of is Ranting Monkey. He's a pretty lucky bastard to have most of the support of most of his family. He keeps on mentioning of how that one of his daughters tunes in on occasion, and same thing goes for his wife as well. I mean, he's lucky, and he's an exception when it comes to that. But in my experience, generally speaking, there isn't enough overlap between YouTubers and in real life normies in order for us to go ahead and try and successfully seek and successfully obtain their approval and fan base. So why even try to pursue it at all? I mean, us YouTubers, we are into response videos, and yeah, we also are as well into the more normie stuff, like talk show hosts, radio talk shows, and other stuff of that variety. But when it comes to normies, they would almost exclusively be for the radio talk show hosts, or TikTok videos at most. When it comes to response videos, they don't want like a full-length 10-minute response video or even longer like you and I want. Like I have been like raised on in my late teens and college years. No, they just want the very super short stuff like TikTok and Facebook Reels and stuff like that. Or they will possibly even go for a YouTuber that has the aesthetic of a normie, like Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro or people of that sorts. There is also the issue of crassness and vulgarity. I mean, we can all admit that us YouTubers, by comparison to normie political commentators, we are a whole lot more crass and vulgar than they are. Like when somebody calls a person a racist or a bigot of any other sorts, or I don't know, racial slur or whatever. I'm trying to like be all encompassing of both the left and the right side of the political spectrum. But whenever generally somebody insults you, you go throwing an insult back. And that's generally of how that I have been playing the game as well. And aside from Mark Levin, I think and aside from Mark Levin being the exception to this, I don't think that there is hardly a single normie political commentator channel out there, or commentator in general, who will return insult for insult, or anything else like that. And obviously, I do prefer civil discourse, but if somebody's going to get uncivil, then I will get uncivil too. And I think that has been the general rule that YouTubers have been going by. But then again, maybe some people just want to be uncivil for uncivility's sake. And if you want civil discourse and you just have one single moment of where that you're calling an asshole, well then hey, you're a hypocrite. I mean, I've come across those people who think it's who think that way on occasion, so I don't know. That's another point aside, though. Even with the more underhanded tactics of where that your opponent will only pretend to be nice to you, but deep down beneath the surface, they are still effectively essentially calling you an idiot, and you'll essentially get angry, or we as YouTubers will get angry at that, worked up, or just even casually throw an insult explicitly at the person. That's the way that we roll as well. And I guess that is just not really attractive to normies. Or maybe this is only really applicable to people on the right, and specifically conservatives, because I think in my general experience, it's safe to say that leftists, I mean, there are obviously a few exceptions from that side of the political aisle, but generally speaking, I don't think leftists as much care for civility. I mean, if you're going to explicitly call somebody a bigot or some other kind of insult, an idiot, whatever have you, or even curse 1,000 curse words per video like Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk does, they will not care as much. So, I don't know, this might only apply to conservatives and to my fellow conservatives/libertarians who are trying to cultivate an audience of fellow right-wingers. And generally speaking, for that amount of time between 2017 and 2021, that's how I personally have been operating, being crass, vulgar, and potty mouth, and all that other stuff. And for the longest time, especially my family, but even most of my friends have been telling me that they don't like that. They don't like the anger. They don't like the vulgarity. They don't like the crassness. They want me to be as clean cut and nicey nice as their favorite radio talk show host or Daily Wire pundit or something like that. And really, with the amount of a-holes that I keep on coming across that I feel like responding to, it becomes really impossible. I'm just going to say it. It becomes impossible to apply to that standard 100% of the time. But even when I try to apply to their standards of decorum more, no anger, no shouting, no cursing, and no insults, they still do not support me on my work. And about 2 years later, I think I am just coming to the point of where that I probably should not try and get their approval on that. Because, yeah, it's just they plain are not supportive because, I don't know, reasons that they cannot describe outside of the obvious that they have mentioned to me before. They really, rather incessantly, just prefer to watch a short 60-second to 2-minute TikTok reel rather than watch a YouTuber respond to another YouTuber. Although, actually, they will sometimes watch a TikToker respond to another TikToker, or aka do a quote-unquote stitch, which is essentially just a TikTok version of a response video. They're okay with watching that, but not a YouTube response video. Isn't that kind of just a little bit hypocritical? I mean, if they have an issue with response videos itself, I mean, I guess there is a possibility that it ain't the fact that you're responding to somebody else's video that's a problem, but might just be the length, which if that is really the case, well then really normies' attention spans are really just that devalued or lowered down. I'm just going to be quite blunt on that aspect. But if it's a response video part of it, and that's the criticism that they're applying to YouTubers, but they're still okay with watching TikTokers respond to other TikTokers via a quote-unquote stitch, well then, doesn't that seem kind of hypocritical? And not even just vulgarity and crassness, actually. In my own personal experience, normies seem to, especially when it comes to normie conservatives, they seem to really prefer the more cookie-cutter, plain and simple talking points. For example, the simplistic talking point of guns save lives. Like, yes, I agree with the basic point that they are trying to make when they say that, but us as YouTubers, if you are to deviate any considerable amount from keeping the talking point as simple as that, you'll start to lose them, be it either because they're just not patient enough, don't have the time of the day, or they just, I don't know, think you're being an overly wordy, nerdy sophist or something like that. Or I guess a more pertinent example, actually, is a little while ago, actually quite a while ago, I had a conversation with my brother-in-law trying to review my one debate that I had with Lord of Patriarchy, ask him what he thought of my performance in that debate, and pretty early, right off the bat, he did not like the fact that I was not making basically an appeal to God, an appeal to religious morality in order to make my point as to how that unborn babies have the right to life and how that killing them is wrong and so forth. Like, that's a clear-cut example of how that sometimes us as YouTubers, most of the time us as non-normie YouTubers, we cannot appeal to normie conservatives because we don't go appealing to religion enough when it comes to I mean, when it's not even applicable. Like, if I was to bring up religion in that debate, it would have really got derailed. That debate would have instead be all about abortion and the morality of it. It would have become a debate about the existence of God very freaking quickly. And I don't think that I wanted to bog down the debate to being all about that, really. Most of the time, I don't want a debate to be all about that, because it just makes me feel like and look like even an overly pious, self-righteous fundamentalist, honestly, who cannot really make his argument based off of standard logic, really. Basic point being that I have tried for so long, at least within the last 2 years. Before that, not quite as much, but within the last 2, maybe 3 years, I have been trying so hard to appeal specifically for the approval of my family and friends, my in real life family and friends. Over the internet, people, not as much. And honestly, I think it has turned up with very little positive results, and for the most part has been giving me a whole bunch of a headache, some negative results, and has just overall ultimately been a hindrance on my own motivation and YouTube channel as a whole. And I don't know, maybe you listen to this, maybe you're an exception to this, maybe there are some other exceptions out there and they are actually able to get the approval of their friends and family when it comes to how they do political commentary and whatnot. Maybe you yourself are more of the normie speak when it comes to politics, or maybe you have a whole bunch of non-normies. Is there another term for a non-normie, by the way? Tell me in the comments if there is a term for that. But if you have non-normies within your family and you're able to get their approval because you both are like, well, non-normies, well then more power to you, I guess. But I'm mostly just making this video as a bit of a warning and using my own experience to kind of reflect and get through the message of that warning, that I think that you all generally speaking, especially if you are an up-and-comer who wants to get into political commentary, especially the type that we do, that being edited response videos and even long-form live stream commentaries, news streams, whatever, that you should not go out of your way for that. You should not really care. If your friends and family happen to stumble across your content and actually like it, maybe you can show them your channel, but don't try to actively crusade for their approval. Do not try like every, I don't know, once a month or anything like that. Do it very, 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 very infrequently whenever you show them a video. But just in general, don't go out of your way for their approval, because in my experience, it just led to a whole bunch of heartache, and who knows, if you were to do the same as I did, then it might lead you to some heartache as well. And so, I still have to work on myself as far as that goes, so I got a bit of a log to get out of my own eye before I can successfully and fully try to get the splinter out of yours, to quote the Bible proverb right there, the story from Jesus. But all the same, regardless of it being projection or whatever, I'm still giving this warning. And on another note, to all my general audience and anybody else who cares, sorry that I have been very slow at making any new content on the YouTube channel. Life has been very busy for me within the last few months, and honestly, I do not know of what exactly that the future beholds as far as this channel goes. I'm still going to be pretty busy and pretty infrequent with the uploads, and so brace yourselves for that, be patient. And I'm going to be taking up a new format of the way that I do my videos as well. Like, as you see right now, I am not actually recording my face, I am talking behind my Ransona right now, and that's how things are going to be for the next few months, because of how busy I am and so forth. But it is what it is, and I still intend to do some edited response videos, or edited videos in general. I have one edited project in the works right now talking about why I'm against the talk shit, get hit principle, relating to two real-life, kind of politicized stories as well. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, I hope to talk to you guys later. Hope to see y'all later, and tell me what you think down below as well. Do you have the same experience as I do with friends and family in real life being wagging their finger at the way that you do your political commentary and so forth? Tell me down below. Hope to see y'all later. God bless.